creative friends, it's Gwen and I'm back today with another scrapbooking process video. Today's share is for Cocoa Vanilla Studio and I'm going to be using their These Days collection for this one. I'm also doing a scrap lift. Yes, I'm scrapbooking Laura Alberts. I'm inspired by this layout that she has right here and I'm going to be working with this photo, which is actually one of myself. So as soon as I saw Laura's layout, I was super inspired by the frames in her background. I also really loved that she'd used the darker edge for the layout edge, and I often create an edge on my layout, so I was super keen to try that darker border. And I was also inspired by her black and white photo. So to create her frames, I have gone ahead and chosen a cut file from Cut to You. And it's called Snapshots with Florals. So I did go ahead and back the floral element of the cut file design in the A5 paper pad. But then I left all of the squares, the snapshot part of the design, I left all of those open with the idea that I would fill some of them with frames that I had fussy cut out. So these ones are from the pattern paper called Wall of Fame. And I'm not sure at this point whether I want them to fill in the boxes of the cut file fully or whether I want them to just be added as an extra layer to the background of the page. And that's actually what I end up going with. I did off camera fill in all the boxes, but it just looked a bit heavy and I really liked the idea of being able to see through some of the frames and the fussy cut out element frames, that those would kind of act more as extra layers in the background rather than filling in the space within the cut file. So with my background layers all sorted, I did quickly go through the die cut ephemera pack and the floral die cut pack and just pulled out some of the elements that I think I might want to use. It's really just a quick sweep to exclude a few things to reduce my choices and to remind me what I have to work with. I have also pulled out the accessory sticker sheet and I'm going to end up using that blocky title piece there. In Laura's page, she had used an element that she had fussy cut from one of the pattern papers and it was a very blocky title. So I did want to sort of emulate that same look and I did go with a sticker from that accessory sticker sheet that says "Bloom where you are planted." I am going to pop it up on some foam tape though as well, so just for some added dimension. So I'm just going to lock in my photo there, make sure it's nice and straight. And I did quickly show you there before, I was super keen to place it in a position where the lines that it was going to be making on the page were interesting. So I didn't want it to line up exactly with any of the frames that I already had on the page. So I had to just make sure that, yeah, that line, if you draw a line around the edge of the photo and the edge of the cut file, that line's super interesting. Nothing lines up. And that's the way that I like that. And then really the bones of the layout are all here. It's that cut file is sort of in position. I have popped it on just with some double-sided adhesive from my ATG. So it's in position. I will add some liquid adhesive to that later, but it's not moving anywhere. My photo is locked down with a double-sided tape. It is flat to the page for this layout. And then I'm just going to go about auditioning a bunch of the pretty floral pieces, some elements from the die cut ephemera pack, and I'm just going to start working on some clusters. I am going to end up with 3 clusters, mainly florals. So the first one, which will be the main cluster, is going to be where that floral piece of the cut file is. The second cluster will be in the top right-hand corner of the photo, sort of to the right of that top butterfly there. And then the last cluster will be on the left-hand edge of the photo and it will be quite small in the end. I did actually reference Laura's sketch or layout for that in that she had a couple of butterflies on her layout as well, and I positioned my butterflies in very similar spot to where she positioned hers, and then that really helped me to sort of find a spot for the supporting embellishments. Now, it's going to be a big shock to you all that this does take me a little while. I did audition quite a few floral elements and bits and pieces from the collection. I was really keen to use some of the everyday little pieces that's in this line, like that typewriter. Super happy that I popped that on this page. There was a little coffee mug that I tried to get on, and a little cute little bike and a few other bits and pieces. And I just auditioned everything. When I'm making my clusters, I kind of think of them as layers in a cake. So the bottom part of my layout is the base of the cake. So that in this case is that yellow pattern paper and the cut file because it's flat on the background. Then the middle pieces of the cake are the die cut pieces and the die cut embellishments that sometimes I would raise with foam tape, sometimes not. And then the top layer of the cake are, generally speaking for me, smaller elements, and they'll also be elements that are quite textured. So for this layout, it is the typed sentiments in the accessory sticker sheet, which you'll see later on in the layout. And also I do use the wood buttons in this collection. They are so sweet. I love those things. I'm going to need 10 packets of them because they're all lovely. And I usually I normally put at least 2 on a layout. So I go through the packs really, really quickly. So they're going to be my finishing touches. So I think of it as a bit of a cake. Things are getting serious because I'm about to glue some stuff down. I'm super happy with how this is coming along. I've got a few of the floral pieces here now that I'm really happy with. It's at this point too that I kind of like to have a little bit of a break, take a breath, make sure that I'm happy with everything. I used to scrapbook a lot where I would set all my embellishments and everything out first, and then I would actually go away, and then the next day I would come back and finish off the layout. Now, of course, I can't really do that while I'm recording because I record on my phone, so I often need my phone. So I like to do all of my recording all in one sitting now. So what I sort of have adapted to more so now is placing all the embellishments and then gluing down, using that time to glue down pieces that I'm really sure about, and then having that be my little breath and my little refresh. Sometimes I'll go and make a cup of tea and then come back and just see it with a little bit of fresh eyes. So I've always loved the process of just gluing everything down, because for me it's like taking a breath and just feeling where the layout's at, and also gets everything stuck down and nice and secure. You also might notice that I actually don't lift things back up to glue them. Generally speaking, I try to just pop my glue underneath where they're positioned already. And that's because I'm really particular about their location, and often I find if I pick something up to add glue behind it, when I go to place it back down, I can never get it back into the spot that I had it. So I've just learned over the time that it's easier for me to turn my page around like I have there and just move things in the least amount possible and just like lift up the tiniest little edge and then add the glue underneath that way. Okay, so here I come in with the wood enamel buttons, and I do lock one of them into place. This second one, I'm not quite sure where I want it to be because it's quite a heavy visual element. I know that it's going to really help draw the eye around the page and give the eye sort of 3 points to sort of rest on, which will make up the visual triangle. My photo will be in the center of that. So I'm not exactly sure where those other 2 are going to go. So I do move on to the accessory stickers. So these are the sentiment ones that I was talking about earlier. Pop them all up on foam tape, and I am going to sprinkle them around my page. I think I end up with 5. 1, 2, No, just 4. I end up with 4. And when I have those in place, actually 1, 2, yeah, 4. When I have those in place, it kind of helps guide where the button's going to go and where they all end up. I do also pull off the foam. They come on a foam pad. I actually pull that off and just use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to glue them onto the layout. I just put the glue directly onto the wood part rather than onto that foam pad. I'm also going to add one last little die cut heart, which is going to go up here. I do audition it in several places before I decide to pop it right there. And that's going to finish out the layout. So thank you for being here, my creative friends. If you like the way that I scrapbook or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all about the products that I've used or the way that I created the page, please leave them below. I'd be happy to answer them. I'm also going to leave a link in the description box for Laura's channel because she is an amazing creator and I know you'll love her projects as well. Thank you so much for spending your creative time with me, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!